Today we will discuss our next chapter, Sources of History, chapter 11. Have you seen or met your great grandparents or great great grandparents? Possibly you might have only seen their photos or heard about them from your parents. Your parents might have told you how they were about the time, clothing, and food habits which define their culture. So, this information helps you to know the traditions, customs, and conditions of that time. These narrations would look like stories from the past. The stories of the past events or the development of a region is known as history. What is history? Historical sources are, at their most basic level, something that tells us about history. It may be a document, pictures, sound recording, book, cinema film, a television program, or an object. Any sort of artifact from the period in question that conveys information can qualify as a source. There are two main types of historical sources of history: primary and secondary sources. Primary sources. Primary sources include documents or artifacts created by a witness to or participant in an event. They can be first-hand testimony or evidence created during the time period that you are studying. Some examples of primary sources: archives and manuscript material, photographs, audio recordings, video recordings, films, journals, letters and diaries, speeches, scrapbooks, published books, newspaper and magazine clippings, government publications, oral histories, record of organizations, autobiographies, and memoirs. Secondary sources offer an analysis, interpretation, or a restatement of primary sources and are considered to be persuasive. It is a work that comments on the past. It describes past events, often written by a historian or trained scholar. A secondary source is a book about history. Examples of secondary sources are monographs, statistical table, graphs, pictures and drawings, historical novels, short stories, movies, dictionaries, legal encyclopedias. Timeline. When the different events are placed in the chronological order or sequence, it is known as timeline. History is represented on a timeline which puts dates and events in the correct order. It helps us to remember things better while learning about the past. On a timeline, the earliest is placed first and is followed by events which took place later. This is called sequencing.